those of you who don't know me, I'm Vanessa Francis, and I'm one of the workshop presenters today. I'm going to be talking to you about biblical principles of health, because the Bible has a lot to say about everything, but it also has a lot to say about our bodies and about how we should be taking care of our bodies. The other presenters are immediately after me is Sandra Carter, and Sandra is going to be talking about nutritional strategies for good health. This is Sandra right here. After Sandra is going to be Elaine Bean, and Elaine is going to talk to you guys about meal planning. So you know how sometimes you're in your kitchen and you're in a rush and you do something bad because you say, I don't have time to chop up all these veggies and to do all of these things that I need to do. Well, Elaine is going to help you through that so that you can take the time to be healthy. After Elaine, we're going to have Tremaine Bean. He's up here. And yes, Elaine and Tremaine, mom and son. And Tremaine is here to lead us into some simple and easy and quick exercises before we leave today. So let's see. Let's go on to the next slide. So this workshop is part of Tending the Temple. And Tending the Temple is part of the First Lady's health initiatives. I don't know if many of you know about that because for the most part, all we've had are health fairs. There have been 3 of them. They're annual. There's been 3 every year. There was one this year in April, and we're going to have another one next year. So if you've never been to any of the health fairs at North Campus, please look out for the postings about it and make sure that you attend. I know it's going to be in April, but I don't know if we have a date just yet. So I'd like to recognize our First Lady because it's with her help that we're able to do these kind of things. And we want to thank her for making sure that we recognize that our physical health is as important as our spiritual health. So this is our First Lady, Tanisha Pitts. Would you like to say anything today? And a request.
It's no problem. I just wanted to say good morning, good afternoon, and I'm really happy to see all of you here. The topic is not one that we always jump to hear, but I think that it will be all right. The recipes that the team has provided, I think it'll be encouraging, and so I'm hoping that you'll be able to take something away here to make yourself feel a little bit more excited and energized about trying to change some of your lifestyle and some of your food choices. So I wanted to say thank you to the team because they were able to just really pull this together and do a really nice job in doing that. So thank you to all of you. I really appreciate it. It's not so much a First Lady, me doing this, but it's an organization that we team with. And so they would like for us to put workshops and things and help us throughout the year to try to stay on task and that type of thing. So if you come out and support that effort, I think you'll really find some really nice things and that will, be tailored to you. And so I hope you enjoy yourself. And I really, again, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Okay, now I know you guys have heard messages about taking care of your health before, right? You probably heard everything that you need to hear about exercising, eating right, getting enough rest, and all of that, right? Well, we like to keep reminding you because sometimes we forget and sometimes we just, don't have time. But we have examples now of family members, right, who have concerns. They may have diabetes, African American community, right? They may have high blood pressure, African American community. That family member may even be you, right? So that's the reason why we want to keep doing this over and over again. And it's important that you recognize that it is biblical. The slide up here gives us an example of what we call the temple, and our body is our temple. So it's Corinthians 3:16 and 1 Corinthians 6 and 19. That last one says, do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have received from God. You are not your own. You were bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your body. So your body is a temple. And you know how it is with temples and churches. We want to do the best possible thing that we can for them, right? To keep them clean, to keep them functioning, to worship God. And so worshiping God with your body means that you have to take care of it. So that's why good health is important to us. And we're going to accomplish that by this last sentence, which says there are 7 biblical principles of maintaining good health. And they're exercise and nutrition, which is what the majority of this workshop is about today, exercise and nutrition. But there are other principles that we sometimes take for granted. And that's why I'm here to remind you about them. And those are things like air, water, sunshine, rest, and self-control. So we're going to see what the Bible says about them. Next slide. So here we see 3 of the principles: air, sunshine, light, and rest. Genesis 2:7 and Ezekiel 37:5 are talking about why air is so important to us. And it says that the breath of life entered our bodies, and we became living beings. So life begins with air, and life is sustained by air. We can live days without food and without water, but you can only live minutes without air. So how do we apply that to our lives today? By making sure that we, and I'm going to say it, I'm going to go there, don't smoke. My personal example is of my mom, who was a lifelong smoker. And my family members here know that I took care of my mom in the last 3 years of her life. And to see her struggle just to breathe, something that you take for granted, you don't think about it. To see her going through that was the most worst thing of my life. And she did pass away. So if you smoke, if you have family members or friends that smoke, I'm just encouraging you to go there. If they need help, do what you can to help them stop smoking. The other thing you can do is that pollution, air pollution is everywhere, right? If you work around construction or something like that, you wear personal protective equipment, a mask. If you garden, even if you just clean, you guys know how much damage ammonia and bleach can do to your lungs. If you don't, they can. So it's very damaging. So wear your mask and take care of your lungs. The next principle there is sunshine and light, and that's in Ezekiel 11:7 and Psalms 4 and 6. And that talks about why sunlight and why sunshine is so important for us. And in California, we have an abundance of it, right? We do. Normally, we had a couple of rainy days, but usually we have so much sunshine. It's a shame not to go out and not to enjoy the sunshine and the light that we have. We do have scientific studies that show that sunshine brings on, or the lack of it, the deficiency of it, brings on emotional problems like depression. A lot of people these days are depressed. The world, you turn on the news and all you hear is depressing stuff. Well, a lack of sunshine can bring on some of those problems, as well as it deletes minerals and vitamins from our bodies. Sunshine helps our bodies make vitamin D, which has been linked to strong bones. And that's another reason why you want to go out and make sure that you get enough of it. Otherwise, you've got to take a pill. So why take a pill when you've got something that's part of nature, part of what was invented for us to enjoy? Adequate vitamin D in our bodies has been linked with the prevention, unless there are other circumstances, of several diseases, including cancer. So the last principle there is rest, and we see that in Genesis 2:3 and Mark 6:31. This is talking about our Creator. After he had worked to prepare this world for us, he invented animal life, plant life, everything that sustained life. He rested. So if he rested, we can't survive without it either. So sleep is important to a healthy lifestyle. So how about this as a way to practice that principle in your life today? Is there a day during the week that you don't have to work late, that you don't have to bring work home with you, that you don't have family obligations, that you don't have ministry obligations? 1 week during the day. Go to bed early. And by early, I mean kind of like 9 o'clock, right? Because normally we get there at about 10 or 11. But go to bed early, at least 1 day during the week. Take your cell phone, put it on its charger, put it out of the room, turn the light off, turn the TV off, listen to some restful music, and just get a good night's rest. Next slide. On this slide, the principles are water and self-control. And self-control is one of those things that we know that we need. In the Bible, it also calls it temperance. And temperance is in 1 Corinthians 9 and 25 and Galatians 5 and 23. And this talks about running a race. But it also means setting goals for ourselves. You have to be in self-control to set and accomplish any type of goal that you have for yourself. You also have to have temperance and self-control to stay away from goodies. How many people came today saying, "Where's the fried chicken?" Exactly. Now, we all have something, right? Mine happens to be red velvet cake, Terry's peach cobbler. Oh, my goodness. Could be fried chicken for you. It could be something else like lasagna. It's that thing that whenever you smell it or you see it, you got to have it. Practice a little self-control. It will help you in the end to take care of your body. So the self-control feature is part of the fruits of the spirits, which Galatians there talks about. And the Lord also gave us another example of self-control in the Proverbs 31 woman. She managed her household, her servants, her business, her family, her husband. And she was a beautiful woman inside and outside. So for the rest of the workshop today, we're going to focus on those other principles, which are nutrition and exercise. But I'm going to urge you guys, that's why I gave this a copy of every scripture in your handout. Go back to that from time to time and take a look at what the Bible says about these things. You may even find other scriptures that fit you and that are more important for you. Next slide. This slide is on nutrition, and it's from Genesis 1 and 29. Then God said, "I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food." Well, it's telling us right there that we've been given the proper diet in the Bible. And I know it's hard to follow these days with processed foods, packaged foods, microwaves, and our busy lifestyle, but it can be done. So the takeaways here for nutrition are, as reminders for you, eating healthy supports all of your body's activities, not just some of them, all of them. Fruits and veggies are generally low in the bad things, but high in the good things that our body needs. There's a recommended daily amount of things that you should get, fruits and veggies, and it's usually about 1.5 to 2 cups of fruit and 2.5 to 3 cups of veggies for adults. So if you just start doing some of that, you should begin to feel much better. Next slide. This one is also on nutrition. It talks about the Daniel plan, 1 and 12 through 15. Now, we know who Daniel is. Daniel was the guy who was invited to King Nebuchadnezzar's court along with 3 other individuals. The king wanted to be able to have an advisor in his court on who he could talk to about the Israelites. And so he said when they came, "I open up my pantry to you. Everything that we eat is yours to eat." The king, thinking that this was a good thing, right? But Daniel and his men said, "No, we follow the Lord's plan." And today we know that as the Daniel plan. And we often follow that when we fast or when we want to cleanse our bodies. But as a reminder, this is what we were originally designed to stay healthy on. One of your handouts has a list of foods that Scripture says is designed for our bodies, and you can find it in your Bible right by the name of the food. So that's a takeaway for you. If you incorporate some of these things into your diet or adding more of them that you already eat, just adding it to what you have right now, you should begin to feel like Daniel and his men felt. If you look at verse 15 there, you can't see it, so I'm going to read it. It says, at the end of 10 days, their appearance seemed better, and they were fatter than all the youths who had been eating the king's choice food. Fatter, translation, glowing, in good health, okay? That's because they stuck to the foods from the Bible. So the takeaways are eating fruits and veggies help promote the removal of toxins from your body. Proper nutrition does wonders to promote energy, does wonders for your skin and your nails and your hair, ladies, your hair and your nails. So eat for energy by eating what's produced locally and what's in season. Next slide. So we're moving on now to exercise. 1 Corinthians 9:24 and 25. And this is talking about a race. Now, who goes into training to lose something? Any of you guys ever did that? You trained for something, you studied for something because you wanted to get there and compete and lose? No, no. It's a waste of time. So it should be something that you do consistently. And by consistent, I mean maybe 3 to 4 times a week is how much you should generally exercise. And it doesn't matter what you do. You can run, you can hike, you can bike. I love yoga. So my two things are walking and yoga. I tell you, a good yoga session just makes you feel like you've been massaged all over. It really does. The example that I'm using here is walking. And if you start out walking, some of you might be challenged at first to just walk maybe up and down your steps. But when you do that, then walk around your block and then around your neighborhood. Get up to 1 mile when you walk, maybe 2, 3, 4, whatever you can do, because the faster and farther and more frequently you walk, the greater the benefits. Next slide. So we have one last slide on exercise, and this is Joshua 14:10 through 11. Now, this story is about Caleb. And if you know your Bible about Caleb, Caleb and the Israelites came in from wandering around in the wilderness. They should have already been in good shape, right? And when they got to the promised land, Caleb and some of the men were sent out to scout out the land to just make sure that it has been promised to them. And it was. But Caleb says he was 45 years old when they came from the wilderness. And now I am 85 years old today. I'm still as strong today as I was in the day that Moses sent me out. As my strength was then, so my strength is now, for going out and for coming in at 85 years old. So that's a role model right in the Bible. He attributes his strength and his longevity to a lifestyle based on hard work and exercise. And so the takeaways here are that exercise can help prevent excess weight gain or help you maintain weight loss. Regular exercise helps prevent or manage a wide range of concerns. And then the last one is that exercise also delivers oxygen, air, and nutrients to your tissues and your body. So I hope this review has been good for you about what the Bible says about health. And I do encourage you to go back and study these things on your own and to just make sure that you start small. One of the slides said start small, right? But then as you start, keep practicing those things. Be consistent. So thank you. My presentation is at an end, but we've got 3 more. Next slide. I'm going to go ahead and introduce them, and then they will come one after the other. Immediately after me is Sandra Carter, Nutritional Strategies for Good Health. And Sandra is a certified nutritionist and a wellness consultant. Her presentation is on good nutrition for better health. And it's going to include the importance of reading food labels, because if you're not doing that, you should be. Reading food labels and using supplements for better health. Sandra is currently launching her nutrition company called Committed Nutrition. We'll hear more about that probably next year. After Sandra is Elaine Bean, and Elaine truly practices what she preaches, and I know her family could testify to that. But in Elaine's quest to recharge her own health, this is what she did. She went out and published her own book, 90-Day Meal Planner with a health focus and a workout plan. She also has a Living Well Facebook blog. It's a resource for meal planning and nutrition tips. So go out and find her and see what's on her site. Elaine is going to demonstrate how to organize your day with portioned out healthy meals that work for you and are not against you. And then our last presenter is Tremaine Bean, who is a professional dancer, and he's performed for the NBA Portland Trail Blazers, for you sports fans, and also for Walt Disney and Royal Caribbean Productions. He's currently on faculty at Dance After Hours. It's a studio in Newport Beach, and he teaches hip hop and jazz funk. I just like the sound of that. And he's going to demonstrate some simple exercises that you can do at home, including using weights that helps keep your muscles toned and your bones strong. I see my little lady with the raffles, though, so we're going to ask her to come. We have one more raffle, and then we will start with Sandra.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Vanessa said, my name is Sandra Carter. My husband, Zimbalist, who's actually the photographer today, we both attend the North Campus, so we're very excited to be here today. So thank you for having us. I will say that one item that I have little self-control over is chocolate for me. Anytime there's chocolate, it's really hard to say no. So just want to make that confession. As Vanessa mentioned, I am a certified nutritionist. I did receive my certification about 6 months ago. And the reason why I actually wanted to earn that was just because I felt like I needed to make better choices for myself and for my family, especially being a mother of 3 daughters. Cooking the meals at home, I felt that I'm responsible to ensure that my family is eating well. And if I'm not understanding exactly what's good and what's bad, then I'm not going to be able to help them as well. So it really was important to me, and as Vanessa mentioned, also wanted to start our company called Committed Nutrition, which we're actually starting that this year and more to come for next year. So really excited about that. So I'm here today to kind of talk to you guys about how to read food labels, to really understand what exactly you are consuming, because a lot of us don't know what we should be and should not be looking for, correct? So we can move to the next slide, please. This is just an example of it's a sample label for macaroni and cheese. And I'm sure some of you have seen these food labels and think, what does all this mean, right? What exactly does it mean? And so the first part of the presentation is the nutrition facts. So it actually talks about the serving size. The serving size is very important. So for example, if it's telling you there's 250 calories for every cup of serving, and you're consuming, 3 different cups, you obviously have to multiply the amount of calories 3 times to understand exactly what you're consuming. So that's the first part of it, is really the serving size of it. Let's see here. Okay, we can move to the next slide, please. And like we just mentioned, serving size, and that just really understanding how many calories are you consuming when you're eating something. We can move to the next one, please. Calorie consumption. You actually get your energy from the amount of calories that you're consuming. So from here, there's an example of calories per cup is actually 250. And again, if you're consuming more than 1 cup, you're consuming multiple amounts of calories. In addition, it also explains to you the calories from fat. So in this example, 250 calories serving of macaroni and cheese, and then you're consuming 110, which means in a single serving, you're consuming almost half of calories from fat. So it's very important to really understand that piece of it. Next slide, please. The nutrients section. So here's an example also of some of the nutrients that are on the macaroni food label, and some of the nutrients that you really should stay away from. And that is actually the saturated fat and the trans fat. That's actually explained here in the example. These are things that will increase risk of heart disease and also some cancers and high blood pressure as well. Next slide, please. This second screen also talks about healthy nutrients that we should be looking for. Some of the good nutrients that you should be consuming are fiber, vitamin A and C, calcium, and iron as well. So make sure when you're reading the food labels, if you see those are actually good nutrients that you want to focus on. Some additional good nutrients are carbohydrates, both simple and complex, protein, fat, both saturated and unsaturated, vitamins, minerals, and water. Those are all healthy nutrients that you should be consuming as well. Next slide. Okay, who likes to play games? All right, Pastor Pitts, hello. I do have a game for you in regards to how much sugar. So a lot of us are consuming sugar in beverages, and we don't realize how much sugar is actually in these different types of drinks because you can't see it, right? So I brought some sugar cubes to help demonstrate how much sugar is actually in these drinks. Okay, so we're gonna play a little game. Who likes to drink Gatorade? Right, we all do. Different flavors, right? Really tasty flavors. Now, this actually has 34 grams of sugar, and that's in this bottle. So also make sure though, sometimes when it says the amount of sugar, it could be 8 fluid ounces, right? This is actually for the entire bottle. So make sure, again, if you're consuming additional, then you're multiplying those or quadrupling, whatever it is. This is 34 grams of sugar. So we're gonna play a little game. How many sugar cubes do you think 34 grams of sugar is? Do you think it's 1, 7, 10? 1, 7, or 10? It's actually about 6 cubes, sugar cubes, okay? Now, would you normally consume just 6 sugar cubes? Just sit there? You wouldn't, right? So again, you have to keep in mind when looking at the amount of grams, how much sugar is actually in there, okay? We have some more. Who likes to drink Coke? Coca-Cola. Our youngins, of course. A lot of us, right? It's good, right? It tastes good, but we know that it is bad for us. It actually, a 20 fluid ounce bottle actually has 65 grams of sugar. Can anyone guess what 65 grams of sugar looks like? How many cubes? Close, 16 and a half. 16 and a half sugar cubes. 65 grams for one bottle. Okay, so if some of you are consuming this on a daily basis, maybe 2 times a day, you're consuming a lot of sugar, and this is where you're getting a lot of your weight gain. Okay? And again, it's not visible, and this is what makes it a little bit more difficult. Okay? I have a couple more. Starbucks Frappuccino. Who likes these? Raise a hand. How many like them, right? I do too, right? I really do. These are good. So many different flavors, right? Okay, so this actually, serving size is 1 bottle, and it has, let's see how many sugar, 45 grams of sugar. How many cubes do you think 45 grams of sugar looks like? Perfect, 12. 12 cubes, okay? So, for the holidays, pumpkin spice latte. How many of you like this one? Okay. This also has 45 grams of sugar. Okay, so again, be very mindful of that. One last one. Sprite. How many of you like Sprite? Right? This is actually 16 fluid ounces. So your normal 12 obviously is a little bit smaller, but this actually has 51 grams of sugar. That equates to about 17 cubes of sugar. So it's really important, like I said. The best option obviously is water. But exactly, if you're consuming these, again, this is, if you're wondering why you're gaining weight, you're not losing weight, it's because a lot of the beverages that a lot of us drink, okay? Yeah, and I think it visually, right, just makes a big difference. And that's why I wanted to do the sugar cubes. I wanted to build a little pyramid, but I didn't have the time to do it, but yeah. Perfect. I'm glad that was helpful. This one, the Sprite was 17. 17 cubes for 16 fluid ounces. Yes. Yes. Oh. 4 grams equals about a teaspoon. Yeah. Yeah. Good question. If yes. Honestly, you have to look at the food label, and again, look at the amount of sugar that's in there, and then the serving per ounce. Definitely. Yes?
What about like apple juices? They have a high level of sugar too.
Yes, they do.
Is that the same kind of sugar as in Sprite?
Yes. So like there's like 56 different added sugars that I learned about, such as high fructose syrup, things like that are contained in a lot of these beverages. So it's again really understanding what those added sugars are and then how much you're consuming in different beverages. Okay. So again, apple juice, lemonade, all of that has the same amount of sugars as those do. Yeah. Orange juice as well, yes.
So we're forced to drink liquor.
That has sugar too. That has sugar too. Just water. Water. Water is your best option. And I'll give that to you later. And then also, so again, the best option is water, and you should be actually consuming half of your body weight in ounces of water every single day. So that's something to keep in mind instead of drinking one of these items. Yes, sir?
You mentioned lemonade. What about it says light lemonade? Does that help at all?
Again, it's reading the food labels and understanding what added sugars are in there. Sometimes it does say light, but you want something that says no added sugars. That's what you really want to focus on, no added sugars. Light still means that there is sugar. That's what makes it taste good, right? It's the added sugars.
So even sugar substitutes,
Certain substitutes,
like
yeah.
stevia.
Those are better for you.
Okay.
There are better options than just regular sugar. But again, there's so many different types of sugar. You really want to understand which ones are the best options and the amount as well in each of these. Yeah, so it's portion size as well. Yeah, and frequency too. If we can move to the next slide, please. So the effects of consuming too much sugar, obviously it can lead to obesity. That's where a lot of our weight gain comes from, is from eating sugar. Leads to type 2 diabetes, heart disease, cancer, gum disease, and tooth decay as well. On here also I did put a note that the daily intake of sugar for an adult male is 150 calories, which is about 37.5 grams or 9 tablespoons a day. And an adult female should consume no more than 100 calories, which is about 25 grams of sugar or 6 teaspoons a day. That is the recommended amount of sugar per day. Also, some ways to avoid sugar, obviously, is to have a better understanding the differences of added sugar and naturally occurring sugars. Like I mentioned, there's 56 different names for added sugar, such as the high fructose syrup that I mentioned. Some ways to avoid sugar is eating fruit, right? Actually, there are the three least amount of sugars in fruit are raspberries, strawberries, and blackberries. So those are always a good option to substitute when you want something sweet. What I tend to do as well is protein bars. Most of protein bars can have chocolate. Like I said, I love chocolate. Anywhere from chocolate peanut butter, chocolate chip, and this only has 2 grams of sugar as some of these other ones have way more sugar than that. So this is really a good option for if you want something sweet, okay? And again, like I mentioned, just looking for items that say no added sugar on the label. That is key also to avoiding a lot of sugar. Next slide, please. Oh, perfect. Sodium. You can go back, Gwen. I'm sorry. Effects of consuming too much sodium, right? A lot of us like salt. A lot of us eat. We like to put some extra salt on there. I know for me it's hot sauce. I love to put hot sauce on everything. But some people do rely on salt for that taste, right? Well, there are effects of consuming too much. It actually increases blood pressure due to the excess fluid in the body, increased risk of stroke, heart failure as well, being diagnosed with different cancers such as stomach and kidney cancers as well. Some of the things to avoid consuming too much sodium is avoid processed, prepared, and packaged food. A lot of those items have a lot of salt. How many of you like to go out and eat to restaurants? I love going to nice restaurants, right? But we know that there's a lot of salt in those foods. So it's really maybe taking time and cooking more at home to avoid consuming so much salt. Also choosing better options such as fresh poultry, seafood, and lean meats such as chicken, ground turkey as well. Those have less amounts of sodium. And also, a lot of us might not realize this, but when we're cooking, ladies or gentlemen, the seasoning salts that we add to our foods contain a lot of salt, right? So for example, maybe one that you use is garlic salt, right? This is pretty common. Actually, per a quarter of a teaspoon, there's 240 milligrams of salt. Okay, so when you're just pouring it on there, you're not realizing how much you're actually adding to your food. Some other options, healthier options that I use personally are Mrs. Dash. It's an actual blend of seasonings, and there's no salt. It has actually 0 sodium. This is a great option to use, and it really gives the food still a great taste. There's also another brand that I use called Flavor God. They have all different types of flavors, and the sodium content is very low. Online. Yeah, this one's online. Flavor God. Yeah, Flavor God. And again, this one, Mrs. Dash, you can get this at Walmart, you can get this at Target, anywhere else, yeah. And a lot of these other items, too, that I have here. So, for example, back to, like, eating sugar and stuff. A lot of us, who likes Mrs. Butterworth's, right? Tasty, right? Well, there's a lot of sugar in these, right? Better option for you. This is a really good brand, Walden Farms. You can get this at your neighborhood Sprouts or Mother's Market as well. This is usually where I get them at. And this is actually calorie-free, and then the sugar is, there's no sugar. You know, it's good. Yes, it's good.
You're not convinced.
You can add some fresh fruit to it. You're good. You're good. Again,
So I have a question because
Mhm.
he's telling the truth. You go from Mrs. Butterworth's to that. it's
Yes.
like, forget it. So what is the best way to transition? You mentioned fruit.
yeah.
What
So baby steps, obviously, right? Because sometimes maybe you're putting too much of this on your and not realizing how much you're actually applying, right? So,
Soak it.
but it's all portion control, obviously. So the amount you're adding, obviously. This again, it does have a little bit of a different flavor. I'm not gonna lie, but again, you can add some fresh fruit to kind of sweeten it up a little bit and just make it taste better. So it's taking baby steps. Allow yourself some time to switch over. Maybe try it once. Maybe you're eating syrup 3 times a week. Maybe try it once and maybe use something else. Same goes for dressings. We all know, ranch dressing. Oh, I'm sorry. What about exactly? Honey is actually a good substitute, and I'm glad you brought that up. That's actually there's a substitution list in your packet, and actually one of those should actually be on there for sugar, I believe. It's honey. So that's actually a good substitute as well. And you can also reference this list with some of the items that I actually provided here for you as well. Were there any other questions? No? Sea salt is a better option than just regular salt. Himalayan salt as well. Different types of salts as well are good for that. And you can get that information online, really. As we all know, there's so much great information. So if you're looking for a substitution, I would definitely recommend just Googling it and picking one of those options. Again, dressings have a lot of salt and sugar. Again, Walden Farms actually does also ranch dressings. It's actually calorie-free and sugar-free. So again, a really good substitute. Can we go to the next slide, please? Do's and don'ts for the holidays. So with the holidays coming up, right? There's a lot of good information. So obviously with the holidays coming up and being around family, and we don't want to necessarily be on a diet, let's say, right? We just want to make better food choices, and that's really what this is all about, right? So some of the do's and don'ts that I put together is do have an awareness about portion size and control. Portion size and control is very important. You can still eat what you want to eat, just minimize it. Myself as a nutritionist, I know what's good and what's bad, and I still eat things that aren't necessarily good for me, but I eat smaller portions to kind of just satisfy that want and then move on to something healthier, okay? Do have a plan and commit to making better food choices. So again, if you're at a party, you see a dessert table, maybe, again, portion size, or maybe you eat one and not 3 different desserts, right? Just making better food choices and understanding that. Do you have a hearty and lean breakfast so that you aren't starving? So going to a party, especially ladies, if we're cooking something, getting ready to go to a party, maybe we're not eating anything, and so you get to a party and you're starving, right? So when we're hungry, we tend to make bad food choices. So it's really making sure you eat something healthier so that you're not starving, so that when you're actually going to the party, you just consume something in smaller portions and get kind of a little bit of a serving. Do bring your own meals so that you can enjoy your healthy meal. So if you are going to a potluck, maybe decide to cook something a little bit healthier and stick with that when you are at the potluck, okay? That kind of helps you to steer you in the right direction. Do keep up with your daily exercise. I know personally for myself, I don't eat all the time great, but I exercise at least 6 times a week. So I'm burning that off no matter what I'm eating, okay? And I always feel better. And when you eat something, you don't feel good. It tends to maybe make you tired, whatever the situation is. You work out, you go burn it off, you feel much better. So make sure you're keeping up with your exercise during the holidays. That is definitely key. Don't overindulge in any meal. Again, portion control. Don't drink your calories away. So for Pastor Pitts, I was speaking about gin. Wine and cocktails have a lot of sugar as well. So So it's making sure, obviously, you're not drinking too much. You're not maybe just maybe you're just enjoying yourself too much, and you just keep drinking, and you're not eating. You're also gaining calories and stuff from there as well. Definitely. Again, don't drink your calories away. Don't eat too much sweets, which I know it can be very difficult, but maybe, again, portion control. Just have a little bit of each. Don't expect yourself to say no to every treat. Have a bite to enjoy or to satisfy your craving. And again, we're all going to take baby steps, and it's just important. If you get a little bit here, a little bit there, then you will satisfy your craving without consuming too much. So don't be too hard on yourself. You want to enjoy the potlucks. You want to enjoy the family gatherings. So definitely. And don't miss out on the celebration and overthink the situation. Enjoy yourself, definitely. There's one thing I did want to point out that I was really surprised about when it comes to something that a lot of us might use when baking for Thanksgiving. So when looking at this, the nutrition facts on here are per 2 teaspoons. Okay, so it's not the entire can, it's just per teaspoon. There's 22 grams of sugar for every 2 teaspoons that you consume of this. So if you are using the entire can, you are actually consuming 880 sugar calories, which is 55 cubes. Yes, 55 cubes, 880 calories just of sugar. Okay, so that again, it's very important when you're using any type of items that you're understanding the nutrition facts and the per serving size. Okay, you just don't think 22 grams for the whole can. No, it's every 2 teaspoons that you use. So when looking at the can, so example, it says 22 grams. You would think maybe 22 grams of sugar in this entire can. No, it's actually per 2 teaspoons. So the serving size is extremely important to understand. This one is 2 teaspoons, 10. It's approximately 10. So I just wanted to point that out because I was very shocked when I saw that. Yes, Pastor Fitz. Well, Pastor Pitts, that's my chocolate right there. That's my chocolate addiction right there. So I understand. Oh, you're very welcome. So that's all that I had. Did anyone have any? Oh, actually, a couple things I did want to mention. Like I mentioned before, in your packet there is a substitution list, so please refer to this. I have provided some good substitutions for some of the normal items that you use on a regular basis. Also, there's a food frequency questionnaire also in your packet that you want to just do whenever you have some time, just to really understand what you are consuming, if you are consuming the right things, and how many times a day. Yes, ma'am? I heard it's a good option. I personally haven't used it myself, but I know it is a good substitution item as well. Yeah, and I would definitely just kind of look it up and just make sure. But yeah, I know a lot of people use that as opposed to, exactly, yeah. One other thing I did want to mention is MyFitnessPal app. This is an application that you can download on your phone through your Play Store. It actually, you can enter your current weight, and let's say you're trying to lose 10, 15 pounds, whatever that is. It'll tell you the amount of calories that you should be consuming on a daily basis, and it's a meal tracker. So every time you eat something, whether you make it at home or you're eating out, you can actually track that in the app. It'll tell you how many calories you're consuming, how much fat you're consuming. It actually also now does a restaurant tracker. So if you're, let's say, traveling somewhere and you want to know what options you should choose when going to this restaurant, it actually downloads the menu for you and tells you the calorie intake and all of that as well. I'm sorry? Yeah, exactly, yes. And when you're shopping, that's a good point. You can actually scan the items to see if it's actually something good that you should be consuming or not. So it's a really good, and again, that information is also in the reference pamphlet.
What about chili peppers? I like hot chili peppers, either pickled or fresh. Does that have any effect?
Again, it's food labels. We'd have to look at what exactly is in there. Like I said, I like hot sauce too, so there's like, a lot of, there's salt as well in hot sauce. It just depends on the food label and how it's actually prepared.
What about fresh? Because I like the fresh chili peppers.
Fresh is always good. Fresh is always better. Fresh is good. You should be fine. Yes?
Would you tell us a little bit about Committed, a little bit more about Committed?
Oh, yeah. So my husband has a company called Committed, and he actually started this a few years ago, and he's actually a business coach. So right now he's actually focusing on personal development and business development as well. And with that, we wanted, Committed's all about helping people. And we said, him and I are both pretty healthy. We enjoy working out. We enjoy, like I said, eating better. And we decided that we wanted to start Committed Nutrition, right? Because we feel like if whatever it is you want to do, you need to be 100% committed to that. And nutrition, we all know that we have to be always, thinking about what your goal is or the why or whatever the situation is. And so we're focusing on building Committed Nutrition. So the first step was actually getting my certification. My husband is also looking at possibly doing, personal training, things like that as well. But I'm going to be starting that sometime early next year. Yes, thank you for asking. Did you have a question? So Coke Zero Sugar, again, there's still sugar. There's still those added sugars, right, that aren't good for you. So again, it's reading the food labels, understanding what different type of sugar is in it, and how much you're consuming it with it. That's right. Oh, it's just one of the substitution, and actually it's also in your substitution list. It's just a better choice than just country white bread. And this is actually an option that we use, and this is where we get it at Sprouts. It's called Ezekiel bread. It just has whole grains in it, basically also glycemic index, which actually tells you the level of how food increases your your sugar levels, exactly. So this has a low index, which is really healthy for you. So whole grains, better protein and fiber as well than just white bread. Mm-hmm. That's right. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to pass it on to Elaine.
Hey. Hi, everyone. I have a lot of work to do. I don't know about you. It's a never-ending journey, but it's all good. And so, first of all, I want to thank Vanessa for being the leader in this event. There was times I was a little bit of challenge in some of the meetings. I might be a nice person and everything, but in a meeting setting, I'm a little bit, have a challenging personality character. So she was so good. At one point I said, Vanessa, I don't think I'm going to do that workshop. So she was so good, though. She smoothed me out, and I'm glad I did, and it's been wonderful. So this segment of the workshop, I'm going to just give you some meal planning tips about how to organize your day and your week, because a little bit of my story is I was diagnosed with high blood pressure probably about 10 years ago. And, the doctor gives you that pill, and they don't really tell you, other than stay off the sodium, you really don't have a plan. And so I really didn't have a plan other than the pill. And I exercised pretty good, had pretty good exercise habits. But other than that, as far as my eating habits, that there was no plan. And so then a couple of years ago, I thought I was doing well exercising, and then I was diagnosed with being pre-diabetic. And I says, oh, wow, that just caught me unaware also. And so I just said to myself, Elaine, you got to get serious about this. This is serious business. High blood pressure, pre-diabetic, could cause stroke, heart disease, and all these things. So you got to get serious about this. And so that's when I decided to get more serious and start paying attention to what I ate every day. I was told that if you, so many calories a day, if you pay attention to that and exercise, you can lose weight. So my journey was to lose weight. And so just so that I can have more organization, I know there are other people that are in my same shoes that need help. So that's why I created the 90-day meal planner. I figured that in 90 days, something's going to kick in 90 days, some kind of habit. So basically, I wanted to pay more attention to what I was eating. And so when I did the calorie counting and organizing on my meals, that's when I began to lose that 10 pounds that I was trying to lose. So basically, the meal planner does that. And also in the back, you're able to record some of the recipes, your favorite recipes too, so that you can fall back on that. Because one of the things about being on a weight loss or healthy journey, you get tired of the same meals so you're going to have to get creative in them. You're going to have to start writing them down, and it changes your whole way you eat. So that was the launch of the meal planner, and then just the seriousness of getting serious about my health. So let's do the first slide here. Self-evaluation is, what is your why for wanting better health? Is it because of your physician has given you a diagnosis of high blood pressure or high blood sugar? Sometimes you're motivated by that. I got to get with it. He's told me once, he's told me twice, so I need to get going. Or is it because of your family? This is my family in the middle, the Bean family. And I love my family, and I thought, and I wrote this in the meal planner, I don't want my family have to halt their life to take care of me. I don't want them to have to, what if I got a stroke? How's that going to impact their lives if I'm laid up in the bed and they have to change their life and take care of me? So that's my motivator. I don't want, some days I fail and may eat bad, but on the whole, I'm in this. I'm in the race. So that's one of my biggest motivators. I want to be around for my children. And the other thing, you may want to look good. Maybe your clothes aren't fitting the way you would like them to fit. That's a motivator. You just want to look better about yourself. And so I believe mine are all three. You can have all three motivators to keep you going, because that's going to be the thing that's going to be to drive you to continue. When you don't want to exercise, you're going to think about, okay, my family needs me, so I'm going to do it. So you need to find, that's the first thing. We'll do that towards the end here. I'll give everybody a chance to determine their why you're here, why you need to be on a healthier path. And so you'll get a chance to put down your why. Next slide, please. So the first thing you will have to decide, are you ready to commit? That's a big decision, because some people, I have the Living Well Facebook page, and people that are on that page are a lot of my family members that have high blood pressure and pre-diabetic. But they're very quiet about their journey. They've never weighed in on anything. So it really is a decision. If you really want this, you have to put the time and energy kind of goes together, because you're going to have to be doing meal planning, maybe more shopping for healthy food options. You're going to be exercising. You're going to have an exercise plan. So are you ready to put the time and energy it's going to take to invest in you? It's an investment in yourself, you know. So you have to make that decision. And I believe everybody here has made a decision. They want better health. So that's where it starts. And then the research that it takes, recipes, things that are good, that may impact your health. You might have some medical issues, and you can just get on the internet and research those. I've searched up things like what are the benefits of garlic or black seed oil or you know, just cinnamon, things that I've heard that have been good for me. I've done the research on, see what the benefits are. How's it going to help me? Fish oil. So you're going to have to do some research on that. Are you ready to commit the time? You're not going to want somebody to just feed you all the information about your health. You're going to have to take control and do some of this yourself. And what about the money? Oh, you know, the biggest thing people complain about, you know, it costs so much money to eat healthy. You know, the organic vegetables and fruit and organic meat, yes, it costs more. But what you're going to find out if you start eating less and doing portion control, you're not going to spend as much money. So the money that's the investment in you. We go to the barber shop, we go get our hair done, we get our nails done, we take trips, we invest all that money into other things. Why not invest into your health? So, and then you're going to have to commit to a plan. Have you ever heard of someone starting a business without a business plan? I know I've seen it, because one moment they're set up shop, and then the next moment, in about a month or two, they're gone. So you're going to have a business plan, because you can't go on a journey unless you have a plan. Otherwise, you're going to be shooting at the hip. You're going to be all over the place, you know, trying to make it work. So are you ready to commit to a weekly plan? And then from the weekly plan becomes the daily plan. So next slide, please. So the decision is, yes, I'm ready to invest in me. I'm important. I'm valuable. I'm going to spend money. That's where I had to decide. I am very important. Now, when I had my kids and I was raising them, I probably couldn't go get my nails done as often. I definitely couldn't eat. Probably didn't eat as healthy, because we were just surviving, you know, and just big old pocket of beans or spaghettis, or, you know, you just trying to live, you know. So now, you know, we're empty nest, so I can invest in me and my family. So there's no excuses. And so the weekly plan is, what is going to be your shopping day? What day are you going to go out and get your meals? You don't want to be buying things spontaneous, going to the grocery store, just picking up stuff, you know, putting it in the cart. Ain't got a meal plan in place, you know, just buying stuff, you know. So you do want to have a weekly plan of day of shopping, and then, of course, your daily plan, and we'll get an example of that, is just organize your breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then your snacks. You know, that's a lot to think about in a day, is to organize your daily plan. So you need to determine your plan and strategy. So when you leave here, you know, work with your husband, or get a support team or someone that can come alongside of you to help plan and get your strategy in place. The little quote up there, it says, vision without action is a daydream. Action without vision is a nightmare. So if you don't have a plan, you know, you're going to be all over the place. So you got to just get that plan in place. What is my strategies? What am I going to be eating? What am I going to give up? You know, you might have to give up, you know, those trips to Starbucks. You know, you might have to give that up. Maybe just do one a week. You might have to get up all the fast food, going out for lunch, eating fast food. You might have to give up that. There, you got to decide, now, what am I going to give up for my health? So those are the decisions you're going to have to make. Next slide, please. Okay, so the first plan that I had to decide is there's a few things you're going to have to buy. How many people got a weight scale in their house? All right, very good. Well, for many years, I didn't even have a weight scale. And now I know why I was topping the charts, because I didn't have a weight scale. I wasn't monitoring nothing till the doctor came, to an annual checkup, and they give you you look down on the scale, and you're way over. That was the only time I weighed in. So if you don't have one, that would probably be your first purchase. The next thing, get you a set of weights. Tremaine's going to do some demos, but you know what? As you're 50 and over, you begin to lose muscle mass. And so you have to continue to not so much build muscles, but to have the strength that you can pick up your grocery bag, so to have that upper strength. Because we focus on walking our legs and everything, but the upper strength of our bodies and our arms, they lack. So weights, I've been doing weights for the longest time. Got some 10-pounders that I'll do in the morning. Just, you don't have to do them long. Just get your muscles strengthened and to keep them strong in case you have to one day use them to pick up your own weight or whatever. But I'm going to read a little bit something about the importance of weights here. It says here in the meal planner, is your muscles is the engine of the calorie burning machine. As you strength train and enhance your muscles, you build a bigger, more efficient engine that burns more calories and helps you lose weight. The more tone your muscles, the easier it is to maintain your weight. In fact, the higher your muscle strength, the more calories you'll burn when you rest. For every pound of muscle you gain, your body uses about 50 extra calories a day. So it's really important that you buy some 5-pounders and do some weights. Get some good walking or running shoes. Might have to go and there's some good styles today now that they have. And so get some good shoes and then get a cute little exercise outfit. You don't have to look all tired and dead out there exercising. Get your little headband and, some matching top and bottoms. You can look cute the way you are and get out there. Yeah, and invest in yourself, Go and buy, when you reach your goals. Ross, here we come. We go. So, yeah, get your outfit together, your shoes, your weights, and get ready. Okay, next slide. Like I said, the internet's going to be your friend. You're going to be able to find recipes. One of the best ones I've found so far is Pinterest. He always corrects me. Because it leads to all the other sites. So that's a good source to get recipes. I use it often. Sandra mentioned MyFitnessPal for calorie nutrition information. I learned, how many know about Siri on their phone where you can just speak in it? If you speak right into your phone, how many calories in a boiled egg, Siri gonna tell you. I found that out. You can just do that. You don't have to download anything, but the tracking is good too. But that's one way. If you're in doubt about something you're eating, you just tell Siri, look it up for you. So in your handout, I want you to go to the Getting Started page. We're going to start that first. Should be in your handout looking like this. It's called Getting Started. Because on that page, that's where you want to start. You want to start with your current weight. If you don't, make sure you weigh in. And if you know your levels from your doctor's last blood test, you can put that information in there, because I know we do that annually. So put that information, because you want to track to see how you're doing also. And then your daily water needs, Vanessa spoke about that, but your daily water needs is 1/2 your weight. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you need to drink 75 ounces of water every day. So make that intentional. Daily protein need. These are things you have to factor in your meal planning. The average adult needs 0.38 grams of protein per day for every pound of weight. Daily fiber need. On average, women need 25 grams per day, and men should get 38 grams per day. These are just, every site might be a little bit different as far as what you need, but you need to factor fiber and protein, water, also in your meal planning. Now I have a question here. Who knows how many calories does it take to lose 1 pound? I don't want Sandra to answer. 3,000? Oh, not quite. Huh? 22 to lose 1 pound? 500. 500 calories to lose 1 pound. And so you have to be mindful when you're doing your day's meal planning and you're eating, and if you're really working on weight loss, you can't just add on the calories, because it takes 1 pound, you have to burn off 500 calories. So that's about working 2 or 3 hours on that treadmill every day. Really, for 500 calories. So just be mindful of that. And then on the sheet, it has where you can calculate your daily calorie limit. Also on the MyFitnessPal, it does that for you. So you need to know where you're starting at. Okay, the next thing, the next handout in your packet here is if you would go to the meal plan. I wanted to show you a meal plan that's eating without a calorie limit goal. Haven't decided, this person hadn't decided that they're going to be on a weight loss goal yet. So everybody got that sheet? Okay, so the typical breakfast, a couple of slices of pork bacon, 2 scrambled eggs, a slice of wheat bread, a 1/2 cup of grits, and some orange juice. And then there's no calorie limit. So you're looking at, I added that up, that's like 692 calories. And suppose you have 2,000. I think the nutrition level for every day should be at least 2,000. So that's 692. And then this is a person that ain't doing no meal planning. Mostly go out fast food for lunch. So you have a Wendy cheeseburger, French fries, and one of them small junior Frosties. That's 570 calories. And if you look over on that particular one, it tells you how much the saturated fat, the sodium, if you total that up, that's 900 mgs of soda. And the sugar gram on just this meal is 41 grams. Okay. All right, it comes to dinner time. Everybody loves fried chicken. Oh, I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to do a chicken breast. That's 320 calories. Some mashed potatoes, some green beans, and a can of Coke. We like our Coke in the evening. So we're looking at 699 calories for that. And then, morning snack, gonna act like you healthy, gonna eat a medium banana. Afternoon snack, but canteen is always the worst thing for snacking. So you go to the canteen, get some Lay's potato chips. That's 280 calories, and the sodium is 330. It's only 1 gram of fiber, so why bother, The evening snack, as if you deserved it, is a vanilla ice cream, and you're just going to do a cup. So that's another 265. And sugar's 28 grams. So when you add that up, you're eating at 2,611 calories. And the doctor told you your calorie limit was 1,000. Okay, the sodium in that is 4,172 mgs in soda. Okay, the fiber is pretty good, 17.6, and the sugar is 157, throughout the day. So what it would be, okay, your grocery list is pork, bacon, orange juice, fried chicken, Coke, potato chips, ice cream, throw in a little banana, green beans, wheat bread, not the good kind, some grits, some white eggs. So when you go shopping, before you go to the checkout stand, look and see what that cart looks like. Does it look healthy? Or do you need to do a U-turn and go back, start over again? Okay, so if that person, this is a profile of a person that doesn't have a plan. So if that person continues on this path every day, what kind of medical things could arise of this type of person? Hypertension, diabetes, high blood pressure, obesity, stroke, overall satisfaction at the bottom of the list. And so depression, mad at everybody, and we ain't did nothing to you. And so, that's the profile. That can happen if you don't have a plan. Okay, now the next sheet is eating with a calorie limit goal. And time is getting limited, so I'm not going to go through all that. But this profile here is someone that is a little more healthy conscious. The grocery list is oatmeal, organic applesauce, cuties, albacore tuna, light mayos, hearts of romaine, grapes, pita crackers, chicken breast, mixed green salad, grape tomatoes, cucumbers, bananas, frozen vegetables, Ezekiel bread, peanut butter, brown organic, eggs. Does that look like somebody that's starving? And that's on a 1,200 calorie limit. So you can eat a lot in the day. You're not going to starve if you go on a weight loss journey. And if you eat right, you're going to, matter of fact, be full. And so once you do your exercises, you use those calories, you burn those calories, and you can subtract. Like suppose you burn 200 calories. You can subtract the 1193, 200 from the 1193, and be under your calorie limit. That's how you're going to lose the weight. You got to pay attention to your calories limit. Now, I'm going to show you just some meal planning ideas. This is what I do pretty much every morning at 5:30. My husband can testify to it. Here's my lunch pail for the day. So if you're a worker and you're going out to work, you should get a lunch pail to organize so you'll be eating out of your lunch pail rather than the canteen machine. And so some of the things I'll leave here too. One of the things I've done is, like the steamed vegetables that you get in the frozen department, you could do steamed vegetables. Because you want to I was going to pass out meal plan if you want one of these sheets. It's there on the table if you want to track. I also have some of the meal planners. And for anybody that wants to serious and just want to try it for a week or two, start organizing and meal planning, I have some free copies. In the back there, my husband Marvin will be issuing them out. But I would like for those that pick them up, want to for at least a week or two. And also, if you don't mind being a part of the Facebook group, if you're on Facebook, we can support and track, and you can be accountable, because that's what it's about. We're helping each other. I like to get some ideas, people coming in and sharing their ideas. Together, we can do it. You know, when you by yourself out there, it's hard to keep on track. So that's really what the Space Group does. It's a support team that we can all add value to it. All right, that's it. Yes.
I just want to say thank you, because there are times on this journey that I want to get upset with you, because I like my Reese's Puffs. Like cherry popcorn. You know what I mean? Make Klondike bar, Krispy Kreme.
to
Okay.
lead us in some exercises. And if you need a volunteer, I see Deacon
Vanessa.
Sam with nothing to do. So,
Who?
You,
You know I got bad knees.
you fine. Stop it. Okay, my name's Tremaine. I am the son of Elaine and Marvin. Hey, I just want to thank Vanessa for allowing me to be here today. By no means am I an expert. I'm just on this journey with all of you as well. And I'm just going to share some things that work for me that maybe you can take with you to do at home. As she mentioned, I dance professionally. I've been touring extensively the past 4 or 5 years consistently, and with that means I'm not always at a gym or a place that I can be accessible to a lot of items to help me work out, so I had to be creative. You know, you're living out of a suitcase and airport to airport, you know, you have to get creative. So I know for us, we're all very busy. I work full-time now in property management, so I understand those of you who have a full-time job, you know, and at the end of the day, the last thing you can be bothered with sometimes is going and working on yourself. And in the morning too, you know, when you have a few extra minutes to lay in bed. So I want to just give some helpful exercises that are kind of some compound things that, you know, work multiple things at once. You know, this will save you time as well. You don't need to go for an extended period of time, you know, to really have an effective workout. I personally don't have the time, you know, to work out for 2 hours, you know, and devote that much time. So I really try to put together, you know, a few compound things I can do and really just get to it and be on my way. So can you pull up my slide for me, please? Some quotes that I want to share with you guys because I'm really big on quotes and I like to have a lot of positive affirmation around me. So one of them I put was, if you're tired of starting over, stop giving up. I know a lot of people say, oh, I'm going to start here, or, you know, after this date, then I'm going to get going, you know. And that's exhausting to keep pressing restart, you know. So that was one there. Excuses don't get results. I feel like we're very good at coming up with excuses, and we need to hold ourselves accountable. I like some of the things, you know, others have shared today about joining together, you know, whether that's your family or friends, hold each other accountable. You know, it's hard to do it by yourself, but really lean on each other as a support system, because it's not easy. Great things never come from comfort zones. So we're all set in our ways, we're grown, you know, we like to do things our way, eat the things we like, you know, and we have to step outside of our comfort zone if we want to see results. You know, it's, as they say, it's insanity to keep doing the same thing and expecting different results, you know. I like this one that says, start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. So this is going to coincide well with what we're sharing here, because, you know, there's plenty of things at home that you already have that you can start with, you know. And I know a lot of the things that we're sharing is intimidating to receive all at one time, but really just try to set small goals at first, you know, and then work towards your long-term goals. You know, I feel like we focus on the end destination, and that's very intimidating, and it doesn't need to be that way. You know, whether you're just saying, for today, I wake up, I'm going to do this. You know, that in itself is a goal for today. You know, we don't need to worry about tomorrow. And then once we're comfortable with that, spread it to a week and a month, and then it becomes habit. You know what I mean? The last one I put was, your only limit is you. So we're really good at getting in our own way. And so just be mindful. A lot of times it's ourselves that are stopping us from reaching our goals. You know, it's easy to point the finger or create a circumstance that why we can't do something, but really it's just ourselves. So just do not get in your own way, okay? So I want to ask you guys, what are some things that you feel prohibit you from being consistent with working out? Time, okay. What else? Jobs. Kids. Mm-hmm. What else? The desire. Okay. Yeah. Weather. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I was saying. Like, for those that, need some motivation, and aren't really wanting to do this on your own, which I understand. Some people like that personal journey for themselves and want that time for themselves. Those that want to band together, like I said, find someone that's going to be committed with you and work together on your goals. Some things that motivate me, I don't really have a lot of reliable friends around me that I'd probably call to work out with me, but some things that motivate me is music. Come up with a playlist that motivates you. Naturally when we're in our car, we're doing our own little thing, and that will get you stepping and, working out. So go through your music, come up with a little playlist for yourself, and, that will motivate you. Look back at old photos. I know, like, sometimes you look back and say, I used to look like this, print that out and have that in front of you. I hear a lot of people say that, and have that in the forefront, to inspire you to move forward. I want to thank my parents, though. They've been great examples for me and my siblings. As an athlete and a performer, people think, oh, well, you can eat what you want and do what you want because you're dancing and performing. But I don't think I would be, as aware as I am now health-wise had I not had examples like my parents. And I still look at them as examples. They do it for their own personal reasons, as my mom mentioned. They also do it for each other, They came together looking a certain type of way. They want to keep looking good for each other, And I love that, why let yourself... Yeah, I know you're trying. I'm proud of you. Why let yourself, look a mess, for your partner? They still want that person they fell in love with. Of course, they're going to love you unconditionally, but, there's no excuse why we should get so comfortable where we can't look good for our person. And if you're single, you want to bring forth the best version of yourself too, for that future person. So with that feedback, I first want to talk about some warm-ups that will help you guys. It's very important that we warm up before and what we call cool down afterwards. And some people like to walk in and just get right to working out, and you can't do that. It's a quick way to an injury. So please don't be stubborn and just take those extra few minutes to stretch and loosen your body up, okay? And that's just 10, 15 minutes of your time to, which you'd probably be on your phone talking to somebody, you could be loosen up and taking care of yourself. A lot of people come to me and be like, oh, Tremaine, my back is hurting, my neck is hurting. And, and I always ask them, oh, did you warm up? And they're like, no, I didn't really, we just ran out of time. There's all the excuses and stuff. So take the time to warm up properly. If you don't, you could pull something, something can snap. I've seen it happen, with performers as well. So just take that extra time. So let's stand on our feet. We're going to do just, get up. So when I'm teaching my dance classes, what helps me is starting from head to toe with my warm-up. So some things you can do, starting with the hips. You can do, I want you to take your head, and we're just going side to side, downwards, to the right and to the left. So you're going to slowly go right, you're going to go left, you're going to go, And don't be too harsh with it. You want to just loosen up side to side. Then leaving your head to the right, take your right, like the palm of your hand, like over your ear area, and just slightly press. You should feel it stretching along here, okay? The goal is to, so the direction your head is leaning is the hand that's gonna press. There you go. And my goal is about 30 seconds minimum to really sit in that position. Then switch over to the left. Okay. And you want to concentrate on your breathing, that you're really letting your body to breathe down into the stretch. Good. Very good. Then with both hands, you can clasp them together, lightly press on the crown of your head and just rest it forward until you feel the stretch in the back. Good, and I'm not hearing enough breathing. Good. I don't know why we're holding our breath. Okay, release the hands. I like to go into rolling the shoulders back. You can roll them back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go for 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, and forward. 1, dad, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Very good. All right. So minimum, go for 8 if you want. If you're really feeling it and you need a little extra, you can go for 10. But you get the idea. We're just lubricating our joints and prepping them for what we're about to do. I know some of us have tight shoulders. Okay, one good one. If you take your right hand, cross it over your chest, take the left underneath to press here. You should feel it in the ball of your shoulder here. And really keep the weight pressing forward towards your chest. Okay, you should feel that in your shoulder. And just breathe into that, okay? If you're walking on a treadmill or even around the neighborhood, you can walk and be stretching at the same time. You know what I mean? You can be rolling your shoulders back, prepping at the same time. Switch to the left. Good. And try not to keep it too high here. You want to keep it across to your chest. Okay, very good. Good. From there, you can take that same arm and bring it over your head and use the hand that's pressing to pull against it so you can stretch the tricep muscle here. And if this is difficult for you, this is a good wake-up call to realize something like this shouldn't be as difficult. You need to spend more time stretching.
Stop.
Yeah. And switch to the other side. Sam.
I'm 61.
That's okay. Excuses. I spoke about excuses. Good. Relax. So you can have a seat now. So for your legs, so like we spoke about, we've been reiterating warming up, walking around, treadmill, bicycle. Take the time if you can. We're lucky to live down here where we can walk outside majority of the time throughout the year, and that will allow you to get some of the natural sunlight energy and warm up at the same time. Some good stretches for your legs before you get